What I'm talking about is the Smith Wesson M&P Shield EZ. You know, this obviously isn't our target we're going to be using. We're just going to get used to the sights a little bit here. That's about it. So, 3 yards. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Concealed Carry channel. I'm Grant McLean. Thank you so much for joining us for this new honest review. Super excited about this one because I just had reviewed the bigger brother to this, and we'll kind of refer to that here in a second. What I'm talking about is the Smith Wesson M&P Shield EZ. Chambered to 9mm. So we're going to jump into this. I'm excited about this because this is one of the hottest selling guns on the market right now. Kind of talk about, is it really as easy as they say it is, and what's really easy about it too. So let's talk about that. Before we jump into the review, thank you again for jumping on to the channel. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, of course, comment. I love hearing from the viewers. And that also helps out our channel immensely. Speaking of helping our channel out, thank you to our friends over at Northwest Armory. They've been a fantastic help with getting us guns so we can do the honest reviews, get you our feedback. That way you know if something's going to be a good fit for you or not. If you go into the store, tell them that Grant over the Concealed Carry channel sent you. Of course, they're going to make sure to take care of you. Make sure to say hi to Khaki because he's such a good doggy. And if you need to get a gun shipped to your local FFL, just go to nwarmory.com. They are shipping nationwide to all the FFLs, and they do a fantastic job of keeping hard-to-find guns in stock, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the unboxing so you can see what you're going to be getting if you were to go to the store or order this online or whatever and buy the gun, okay? So it's going to come in the Smith & Wesson M&P cardboard box here. We're going to pop that open. So what you're going to find in there is the firearm wrapped in a nice blue plastic foam bag. Okay, let's pop that out. We have our safety flag in there, right there. We're going to pop that out. And we have a fun little tag hanging from the trigger guard. So let's go ahead and take that off. Okay. So we have our firearm. Inside the box, we're also going to find another magazine. So you're going to have 2 8-round magazines. You're going to have your lock, your instructional manual, and also a couple more pieces of good old propaganda. So nothing too special about what's in the box. I would recommend if you were to buy this, when you go pick it up, get some sort of range bag or hard case or locking box, something that's going to be a little bit more appropriate than a cardboard box, of course, to store this into, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about this pistol here. This is chambered in 9mm, okay? It has an 8+1 capacity, okay? You can have 2 of those mags. The barrel on this is 3.7 inches. The overall length on this is 6.8 inches. The height is 5 inches with the magazine in it. The width on this is 1.5 inches, okay? This is going to be a little bit wider than some of the other shields because, or other 9mm shields, because this does have the thumb safety, okay? That's the widest part of the gun, all right? So 1.5 inches. As far as weight goes, this weighs in at 1 pound, 7 ounces, and the price on this bad boy is $4.79. All right, so like we do, I'm going to talk about this gun from top to bottom. Of course, we did take this to the range. We did our usual 3, 5, 7, and 10 yards. So we'll touch on that, and I'll tell you my findings with that. So let's go ahead and start off on the top here at the sights, okay? So you have your typical 3 white dot sights. These are metal sights. The rear sight and the front sight are basically the same sights as what you would find on the Shield's bigger brother, which is the compact, okay? Same sights, all right? So the rear sight is a Novak style rear sight. It does have some nice machining on there for the anti-glare, all right? And this is something that you could easily replace if you wanted to do like a tritium or a fiber optic sight on there, okay? So the sights themselves, nothing too crazy special about them. They work well. They're easy to find. The paint on the inside of them is nicely put in there. I have seen some sights before where even the paint was kind of blotchy, ran off onto the other sides of the sights, and then the quality control just wasn't there. And I'm not talking about this gun. I've just seen it in other guns before, and they did a good job on this, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about this slide. All right, now this slide has the same type of serration style as a lot of the other Smith & Wessons, kind of that wavy scallop type look, okay? I do really like it. It is quite stylish. The front serrations, you know, these are really thin. I think that they're more aesthetic than actual functional. The rear serrations, though, this is kind of cool, okay? So on the back of this slide, you can actually see that the rear serration, the very last one, sticks out from the slide, okay? So making it very easy, of course, to hold on to, all right? So not only are the serrations nice and grippy, but at the very end it kind of steps up so you can get an even more positive grip. Now, one of the things that they talk about with the EZ is how easy it is to rack the slide. And I will tell you this, it is really easy, comparable to other guns that this would be compared to. So like comparative to a Glock 19, a SIG P320, even its bigger brother, the compact M&P 9, this slide is very, very easy. But what's funny is this. If I take this Legion, okay, which has a 12-pound slide in it, this is incredibly easy as well. So, you know, the thing is I would not necessarily box myself in to this gun thinking that there's no other gun I can get that's going to be as easy to rack the slide, because this is very easy to rack the slide on, okay? And this has a 12-pound slide. So, with that being said, not saying it's a bad gun, but I don't know that I'd pigeonhole myself into buying this gun just because of the easy slide. You might be able to get a lighter spring for other guns, making it as easy, maybe even easier than this, okay? So, just giving you my honest opinion. All right, now, so I do like the serrations. The front ones, like I said, they're more aesthetic than functional in my opinion. Now, on the top of the slide here, you actually have a loaded chamber indicator, okay, which is kind of cool. So I'll show you how that works here. I got a little snap cap dummy round we're going to pop in there, okay? And you'll see that loaded chamber indicator sticks up just like that, okay? It's visually, if you didn't know what you were looking for, you might miss right over that. I've seen other loaded chamber indicators that have the red paint on them on the inside, and it really is just like, hey, there is a round in the chamber, okay? I like that. This one here is, they say it's tactile. I mean, it's so small, it's so short that I don't know that you would necessarily, if you had gloves on, I don't know that you'd necessarily feel it. And because it matches everything else on this slide, if it was a little bit darker or you were only able to take a quick glance at it, honestly, I don't even know that you'd even notice if it was up or down. So that's kind of the thing is, I get it and I understand the idea behind it, but I think the overall execution, it could have just been a little bit better, okay? Versus some of the other manufacturers' loaded chamber indicators, okay? So let's go ahead and pop that out. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the safety, okay? So this has several safeties on it. You have the grip safety, and then you have your thumb safety, okay? So the thumb safety, as you can see here, is ambidextrous. There's one on the right and left. And the grip safety is also ambidextrous as too. You can use it with your right or left hand. Look at that. The trigger, though, you'll see some that'll have the little notch in there, and you're going to have that trigger safety. This one doesn't. This is a solid trigger, and we'll talk about the trigger here. I do like the trigger quite a bit. So those are your safeties there, and of course you have that loaded chamber indicator right there. The thumb safety it's actually quite nice, okay? It's intuitive. It's not really tough to move, you know, put the safety on, take it off. I wish that the grip safety was just a little bit more refined. It feels very cheap and plasticky, okay, in my opinion. I would have liked to have seen it go a little bit more flush with the grip, because when you actually grip the gun, it kind of pulls the webbing of your hand in between in that funky little gap right there, okay? So it just kind of feels weird, but at the same time, with some practice, you know, some experience behind the trigger of this, I don't know that you would necessarily find it to be weird anymore or like inconvenient, but that is me being, you know, a little picky about the gun, because at the end of the day, you know, it's $500, you know, or it's $479. Let's call it $500 after your background check anyways, you know, and half a box of ammo if you can find it, right? So that's kind of the thing is, I want to be crucial on these things for you guys, because, you know, things like this, if you don't like them, you know, and that's going to bug you, that can be the make or break of it, right? So anyways, that was one of the things that kind of bugged me a little bit, all right? As far as the mag release, okay, with the mag release on this, it is ambidextrous, okay? So it's set up on the left side of the gun, but you can also move that over to the right. Now, just like the M&P 9 Compact, okay, I wished that the mag release was just a little bit bigger. On the mag release, you're going to find that there is a little kind of bump, or it kind of ramps up from the actual grip to the mag release button, okay? It does the same thing on the compact model. And like I said, on the compact model, I wish that Smith & Wesson would have used more of that little bump, okay, so you could get a more positive grip and manipulation with your thumb. Now, I really did like on the compact, as I do like this one, it takes very little effort to press that button, that mag release button, okay? So even though I may not be able to get my thumb all the way on there, okay, without changing my grip, so even though I might not be able to get all of my thumb on there, it takes such little effort to push that button. I really, really like it, okay? Had they made that button just a little bit bigger, enhance it a little bit more, ooh, would have super duper loved it, okay? So I do like the mag release, no issues as far as that goes, okay? Let's talk about the magazine, the theme with this gun is easy. All right, easy slide, easy safeties, easy magazine release, easy, right? Very easy to shoot. And they didn't stop with just the gun. They also went on to the magazine. It's kind of neat. It's kind of like the 22s where you have this little notch here, this little handle that you can actually pull the follower down as you're loading in the bullets too, making it easier, of course, to load these up, all right? And they made it even easier because they gave you 2 of them, so now you don't even have to go back to the store and get another, right? Easy, super duper easy. So, you know, as far as naming this, the Shield EZ, well, they did it quite appropriately, right? When it comes to the grip, this is the same 18-degree angle. It's a very natural angle when you point this gun, okay? I really do like it. It's almost like if you just took your hand and you just pointed at where you wanted to shoot, and then you put the pistol in it. You just look down the sights and it's like, oh, perfect. They lined up perfectly, okay? So I really do like that. I can just push the gun forward and the sights are just going to naturally line up. Really do like that angle. And that's one of the things that I said in the compact review as well, okay? One of the bummers that I found, and I got excited when I saw this because I saw this little piece down here, and that's where you can take off the palm swell and the back strap. When I grabbed that, I went to twist it. It's fake, okay? It's a faux one. There are no back straps that you can swap out on this, and I guess, you know, of course, that makes sense when you see that it has a safety, of course. But I got a little excited. Unfortunately, it's not that way, okay? So what you have is what you have. Now, the grip texturing on this is an M2.0, and typically the guns that you're going to find that are the M2.0s for the M&Ps, the texture is going to be pretty aggressive. I really like it, but it can be too aggressive if you're trying to conceal carry. So essentially, you know, things that would rub against this grip, like your clothing, maybe your skin. With the compact model, this can be just too aggressive, you know? It feels fantastic on the hands when you're shooting it at the range or you're drawing it from a holster or anything like that. But as far as, you know, concealing it, you do have to be, you know, conscious of how you're going to carry this gun, you know, with that grip. And you'll find that out within the first week of carrying it. You'll be like, oh man, this thing is pretty darn aggressive. This is like the Sig Sauer. I really like those grips. It's like the Sig Sauer texture and the M2.0 from like the compact and the full-size models had a baby, and they put that baby on this grip. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so this grip is, in my opinion, for concealed carry, but still you're able to really get I hate to say it, but you know, you're still able to get a really good grip on the gun even when your hands get sweaty. I think they did a really good job on this. Now, the length on the grip is something that I did really like too, because on some of the other pistols that I've reviewed, and also some that I own myself, the grip will actually stop before the end of my hand, okay? And what ends up happening, well, this one stops a little bit before the end of my hand too, but with that little faux piece, okay, on that back strap, it doesn't hold the mag in, okay? So I've had that in other grips where I'll go and to push the mag release, okay, and you can see that on my P365 review, is I'll push the mag release, but I have to move my pinky so I can move the bottom of my hand out of the way, because that's essentially what's holding in the mag. So this one, you can see there, it doesn't hold in the mag, which I really did like that. So they're knocking it out of the park on quite a few things on this gun. I wish that the grip did have a bit of a palm swell, because what I have found, and it's hard to see from the camera angle here, but when you grip the gun, you'll find that because it's so thin and there's no curvature to the grip, you'll find that there is areas in your palm that aren't touching the gun. So you're not having as much surface area on the gun itself for when you are firing it. And so the gun itself can move inside your palm just slightly, okay? And like I've talked about before, just a slight movement here can be a lot of movement further down the range, okay? So speaking of the range, we did our usual thing where we want 3, 5, 7, and 10 yards, okay? Now, this is my first time shooting this gun. The 3 yards, obviously, I'm very, very happy with. The 5 yards, I definitely, the grouping itself, not too bad. And keep in mind, this is 5 shots in 2 seconds. Not bad there. The grouping, not bad there. If I were to continue to own this gun, more rounds down range, and I'm fully confident that I would be able to get this grouping pushed up here and get this grouping pushed up. And the grouping right here is pretty good. This is 10 yards, 5 shots in 2 seconds. And, I'm not like terribly disappointed in the grouping. I would just like to see that go over to the right, all these kind of go over to the right a bit more, okay? So I think that, myself and probably you included, if you're considering getting one of these, more so I concentrate on the groupings when I'm doing the 5 shots in 2 seconds versus necessarily where, is it hitting the complete zero? Because, some of the sights from the factory, and I've seen this, the sights may not actually be installed properly, okay? Completely properly, okay? So, I've seen that on another one of my Smith & Wessons, and I'll just show you guys. Now, obviously, this is not a revolver review, but you can see on this front sight, it is pushed way over to the left, okay? So, I have to get this sight pushed over to the right, so that way I can properly shoot this gun, the way that I want to. My groupings are fantastic with this gun. Problem is, all the rounds are way off to the left, and it drives me crazy. So, that's something you want to look out for. Doesn't matter if you buy this gun or any gun. Make sure that before you take delivery of it from the store, that the sights look good and everything like that, okay? So, anyways, kind of do your own quality control if that makes sense, all right? So, I wasn't too unhappy with the results on that 3, 5, 7, and 10 yard drill as far as that goes. The recoil is fairly manageable. I would say the recoil itself is pretty comparable to the compact, okay? The recoil is pretty comparable to the compact, but once you start firing it in rapid fire, like I was doing there, those small gaps I was talking about that you get between your palm and the actual grip of the gun, okay, that will be a factor, in my opinion, okay? All right, let's talk about the trigger. So this trigger, comparative to some of the other ones, it does not have that trigger safety in there. This trigger, it's a nice trigger. It's a nice, easy pull. Nice, easy pull on that. Crisp break, okay? This trigger is weighing in less than 5 pounds, all right? The reset on it is nothing too long, okay? It's right there. So I don't think the reset is, it's not super short, it's not super long. It's audible, kind of. But you're never going to hear that because you're going to have all your hearing protection on and everything. It's pretty quiet. I would have preferred that this trigger has a little bit more feel to it on the reset. So when I have the Glock, for instance, okay, and trigger break, but the reset, you can actually really hear it and you can also feel it. So there's the reset, nice solid click, but I can also feel that it has kind of like some give to it. So there's tension, 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 and then give. So I really like that because I am going off of feeling, because I can't really hear all of those things at the range because I have hearing protection on, just like you probably should too, right? So I wish that the trigger was not really more audible. That doesn't matter to me, but it had a little bit more feel to it. Okay, so, but if you're used to, you know, taking your finger all the way out anyways, then hey, it's not going to be much of a factor for you. All right. As ergonomics go, this is a very ergonomic, very comfortable gun. Like I was saying, the 18-degree grip angle is fantastic. Obviously, the grip safety, easily to engage that. The thumb safety, easy to find right there. You know, the only thing I would say as far as ergonomics go is, like I mentioned earlier, these little slide serrations. Okay, this is not something that, in my opinion, is more than just aesthetics. All right, and you have to be cautious because these slides, they are nice and smooth. So this is not something that if your hands were wet, sweaty, or anything like that, that I would necessarily rely on manipulating the front of that slide, at least off those front serrations. Right here you have your slide lock release. Okay, this, I think they should have enhanced that quite a bit more. That's probably the only spot that isn't easy, okay, is that slide lock release. I think they could have enhanced that, made it a little bit bigger, made it a little bit easier to operate, okay? But other than that, if you tend to slingshot your guns anyways on the reload, that is not going to matter at all, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and put this back, because we're not talking about that compact. We're talking about the Shield. So accessories, as far as that goes, you have a lot of accessories you can put on this front rail, no problem. They have sold a ton of these guns since they've been released. Being that some people might have kind of weak hands or things like that, they really do market this more to women. You can see that in their advertising. You know, I'm one of those types of people that, you know, if I'm not going to say that this is for women per se, you know, I don't think there's women I know that'll kick my ass, so I don't think that, you know, I would say that, oh, you need an EZ. But I've had, you know, some older people that I have met, and they have arthritis. They're looking for a gun that's going to be easy for them to rack, magazines that are going to be easy to load, things like that, just easier. I would recommend this to them. I wish that this was a double stack magazine, but you're really not going to get something like that with a double stack. And overall, accessory wise, I think it's fantastic that you can get pretty much whatever it is you want for this gun because it has such a great following. There is a Performance Center model of this, which if you want something kind of Gucci'd out, decked out with all the good stuff from the factory, I would consider looking at the Performance Center model. If I were to purchase this gun, I would probably look at the Performance Center model personally, okay? So the fit and finish of this, they did a pretty darn good job. The coating on the slide looks fantastic. The machining on the slide looks really good. There's only one spot on the gun that kind of drives me crazy, and it did with the compact as well, and that's I can see the light of day through between the slide and the frame. It is a very clear gap in that slide. And, you know, that just kind of bugs me because I am a clean freak and I don't want to have debris going into the internals of there. So I would just keep that in mind, is if you're going to be carrying this, you know, you could get lint in there, you could get whatever in there. You might want to consider cleaning this a bit more often than other handguns that don't have as much of that gap, okay? So that would be one of the things I would tell you, all right? A lot of gap, all right? So anyways, as far as fit and finish goes, that would be my pretty much only complaint. But other than that, if you're looking for probably the easiest gun to operate and shoot out of the box, this is a fantastic choice, all right? Anyways, thank you guys again so much for joining us for this honest tabletop review. I was very happy to shoot this because they are getting harder and harder to find people who have them. They say they love them. Speaking of, if you have one, tell me how you like it. I'd love to hear how you like it. If you have one and you hate it, I want to know too. And obviously some of the other viewers are going to want that information as well, as they're going to be looking to us for those honest reviews and feedback, okay? But other than that, if you guys need a gun shipped to your local FFL, go to nwarmory.com. Go see our friends over at Northwest Armory. They're doing a fantastic job in supporting the channel. Also, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and share the channel with your friends, family, other concealed carry gun enthusiasts, and other concealed carry gun buyers, okay? So anyways, we have some awesome stuff coming up soon. I'm super excited to share these things with you guys. Another accessory review of something that just hit the market, so I'm pretty excited about that. All right, you guys, thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. So the sights themselves, nothing too crazy, or, oh my gosh. It is crazy at this point. It's getting really crazy. All right. Smith Wesson Shield EZ, the M2.0 in 9mm today. Bomb.com. Compact, 8+1, big barrel.
That is not going in the bloopers.
Khaki, good doggy, pet him, give him treats, give him love, tell them, subscribe, like, share, buy things from places that support us. Patreon, buy me a coffee. There's, oh, I'm sorry. Let's see here. Okay. Didn't even go in the battery. Here we go. Nope. Wes, I need to learn how to catch them. They're just flying everywhere. Just like, yeah, I need to perfect the. There it goes.
There you go.
That's what it is. Yeah, just kind of a light little flickarooski. Ooh! Real assassin. This one. I don't know. This little bump, would you call that a bump or a hump or a rumpadump?
I'm for rumpadump.
The rumpadump. Alright. So, a lot of so's in this one. Okay. Hold, please.
Thank you.
Apparently we have some folks outside the studio. Hand job. Hand job. They made it even easier on you. They gave you 2, so you don't even have to go buy another. You definitely have to. You Jew. My God. Really? As far as that goes, you know, I'm adjusting my grip, my posture. What am I trying to say? Okay, so let's put this back. Oh, okay, take two. Okay.